Welcome back to another episode of the Ice Cream Social. You already know we have to get the housewarming out the way, so let's go ahead and let's just get it over with. If you haven't already done so, follow us on social media on Twitter at ICS_podcast, Facebook, follow us Ice Cream Social Podcast, and if you haven't already done so, please subscribe on our YouTube channel, Ice Cream Social Podcast. On top of that, yes, we do have more. The merchandise has been flying off the shelf. When I tell you guys I only have a handful of items left, I would not lie to you. So just head over to icecreamsocialpodcast.com and enter promo code 50% Mondo. If you don't know how to spell Mondo, it's MONDO, and just put that in all caps. So 50% Mondo, and you'll receive 50% off at the checkout. Help me sell out the store so I can bring in that exclusive Black History Month merchandise for the podcast as well, because we're taking this thing to new heights. And since I went ahead and mentioned social media, that is going to be the topic of discussion for today. Has social media become too critical? So before we fully get into that, let's just go into our favorite introduction, and then we will be right back. Whoa, a cream, yeah, a cream, yeah. You know what time it is? Ice cream, Ice Cream Social. Whoa, a cream, yeah, a cream, yeah, turn up, Ice Cream Social. All right, so like I said, we're going to talk about the idea around social media critics. But before I talk about that, I do want to give a big congratulations out to the Philadelphia Eagles for beating the New England Patriots in the Super Bowl. The score was 41-33. If you have not heard or you did not watch the game at all. Also, big shout out to the backup QB, Nick Foles. I mean, to think in 2016 he wanted to retire and become a pastor, and 2 years later, a short 2 years later, he is the Super Bowl MVP. So big shout out to him. Fly, Eagles, fly. I guess that's what y'all like to say, but you know, I can't really say it on a serious note because I'm a Colts fan, always will be. But anyway, so let's go back to the topic at hand, social media critics. And actually, since I mentioned the Philadelphia Eagles, we're just going to start off with my man, Kevin Hart. So for those of you that watched the game towards the end, Kevin Hart was trying to go up to where the players were and where the trophy ceremony was. So you had Roger Goodell, Dan Patrick, the owner of the Eagles, the coach, the quarterbacks, all that stuff. He was trying to get into that booth to be around that crowd in that ceremony. And it was so funny because you could see this bodyguard refusing to let him pass. And I'm only bringing this up because people crucified Kevin Hart for this. People were calling him a drunk. People were saying, you know, who does he think he is? He has no right to be down there. He's just a comedian to do what he does best. I mean, saying all types of stuff. I mean, my man was born and raised in Philadelphia. He always talks about Philly, for those of you that don't know. And, you know, it was just one of those moments to where he is a megastar, and clearly they let him down on the field with no problem. So he probably thought that he could get up there, you know, and just spread some more laughter. I mean, he was also in some post-game interviews. Like, he's not a nobody, but people were simply crucifying him. So with that being said, he had to issue an apology, which I think was absolutely ridiculous. Not the apology, but the fact that he had to issue one. So let's go ahead and play that real quick.
To all the kids out there, I just want to say don't drink. You know, when alcohol's in your system, you do dumb stuff. Me trying to go on stage with the trophy, definitely in the top 2 stupidest things I've ever done, but who cares? The Eagles won a Super Bowl. Yeah, I'm still a little tipsy, but the world can kiss my ass.
Damn, where are your socks?
Shut up, bitch. I ain't got socks on because I'm tipsy. And my wife was the first one that said, babe, don't go up there. I told my wife, no, honey, chill out. I got to be up there with my city.
That didn't work out.
It didn't work out good. That man did his job, didn't he? He said, Kevin Hart, I know who you are, but you can't be up here. I said, hell if I can't. I went to walk. He put his hand on my chest. Who gives a shit? Go Eagles, fly, Eagles, fly.
Hey,
fuck
was he
it.
stout, bro, when he put his hand.
No, he was firm.
Now, I forgot to say it before the video, but listeners' discretion is advised. I know it's too late, but I'm going to say it anyway, just to throw it out there to make the people feel good, just in case somebody that's not allowed to listen to curse words is listening to the podcast and their parents are also listening. Now you know I said it, so it's on there. I threw it out there. Listeners' discretion was advised on that audio tape. But anyways, I just felt like it was, not at the beginning. He did tell kids not to drink, which is a positive message. But I just think that nowadays, it's so ridiculous that people have to issue these apologies left after right, like no matter what incident happens. And these incidents in particular, these are more controversial actions that took place by major corporations, so I'll get into those a little later. But even the fact of P. Diddy, Sean Combs, Sean John, whatever he calls himself nowadays, which he wants to be called Brother Love, and I'm all here for it. He's spreading positivity. He simply said in the interview with The Breakfast Club, and he even put it on his Instagram, that he's not who he used to be. He used to be somebody that warranted a lot of negativity. He didn't really have good energy around him. But now, since he's matured, he's grown in the entertainment industry, he's changed, and he mentioned that. So that's why he wants to be called Love, because he's just constantly growing, and it's all about spreading love. And when he released this video on Instagram, people didn't like it that much at all. Now the culture, and for those that are hip and us millennials, we know what I mean by when I say the culture. But everybody else thought it was ridiculous. They were saying he has too many nicknames. They couldn't take him seriously, called him a joke, said this is why he can't own an NFL team. And I just think all that is completely unnecessary. And I would categorize this as cyberbullying and as Instagram trolling. I just think it's absolutely ridiculous. And this is part of the reason why I wanted to make this a topic of discussion for today, because there are so many instances where somebody will say or do something that, if that happened in person and hadn't been recorded, it wouldn't have been a big deal. But since it was recorded and he has X millions of followers, there are always those people out there who try to twist the story and make it to something that it wasn't meant to be. So with that being said, I'm going to play the original clip of him introducing himself as Brother Love, and then we'll just take it from there.
Y'all, I have some very serious news. I've been praying on this, and I decided, I know it was risky because I knew it could come off as corny to some people, like, yo, I decided to change my name again. I'm just not who I am before. I'm something different. So my new name is Love, aka Brother Love. I will not be answering to Puffy, Diddy, Puff Daddy, or any of my other monikers, but Love or Brother Love, okay? It's my birthday. I feel good. God is the greatest. I give all glory, and I thank my mama and daddy. Mwah!
Now, if you listen to that, you would just simply think that that's Diddy being Diddy, and I'm here for it because I've said the joke before. I might have more nicknames than Diddy. I'm not going to go through them all because you guys just need to know me as Mondo, and I don't need you guys getting any type of ideas on what else to call me. We're just going to stick with Mondo, and that is it. But the point is, I just feel like that wasn't that big of a deal. I laughed at it. I thought it was a good message because he's simply just saying he's not who he once was. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with people evolving and people changing and bettering themselves? And the fact that he needed to issue this apology is absolutely ridiculous.
Hello, is it me you're looking for? Well, ladies and gentlemen, today I've come to the conclusion that you cannot play around with the internet. Due to an overwhelming response from the media out there, and just due to there not wanting to be any confusion, I was only joking, okay? I didn't change my name. It's just part of one of my alter egos. One of my alter egos is Love. But to set the record straight, because I have a lot of press to do the next couple of weeks, you can address me by any of my older names, and but if you still want to call me Love, you can call me Love, baby. But I was only playing.
Now, besides the beginning where he was laughing, I would actually consider this apology to be fairly thoughtful, especially coming from Diddy, because he's not known to be a man that apologizes very often. But I just found it funny how he used the word media at the beginning. And media is always used in a negative connotation nowadays, because even when you have post-game press conferences, you have the press conferences with the whole Michigan State thing, it's always negative questions being asked. Whatever somebody says, it's always twisted and turned into a negative way. And I just feel like that's not what the media is here for. And to be a person that has a podcast, I'm over here spreading positivity. And I just find it very ironic how people are always talking about, stop the bullying, no bullying, with the whole Keaton Jones thing. And he turned out to have been raised by a racist, and he was in some way a bully in school. But yet there's people that post those messages. They feel sorry for people like that, but then they go on Instagram and Twitter, Facebook, whatever social media, YouTube, whatever social media they have, and they do the exact same thing underneath the comments section. I mean, that's why so many influential people, they turn off their comments because they don't want to read that stuff. Now, if a lot of this stuff is positive and genuine, I guarantee you they wouldn't be turning off their comments, because who doesn't want to see genuine love and genuine appreciation in their comments? But it's not that. It's a lot of people just simply trolling. And I find that very disturbing, because a lot of these people are the same ones who, in the daytime, they don't promote bullying, but yet they get behind the keyboard and they do the exact same thing. I mean, Drake said it in one of his songs. He mentioned having Twitter fingers. That's basically what the world is nowadays. I mean, I'm out here for social media, staying connected with people who you grew up with, staying connected with people from around the world. But I do not think it's meant for people to be secretly downplaying one another, talking bad about one another, demonizing one another. I don't think social media was meant for that. And I do know some pages, they have a filtering section where if you do post something negative, it filters it out and they'll actually remove your post for you. I feel like all of Instagram and all social media needs to create that, because I'm sick and tired of it. You see something on the internet and it is just so negative. And I shouldn't even throw this in the same category because it was messed up, but he also admitted that he was not aware of the situation, and these people are actually calling for him to be removed off of YouTube, for his career to basically end right then and there. And that was Logan Paul with the whole Suicide Forest. I'm gonna play that clip real quick and then we'll just jump right back into it.
I've made a severe and continuous lapse in my judgment, and I don't expect to be forgiven. I'm simply here to apologize. So what we came across that day in the woods was obviously unplanned, and the reactions you saw on tape were raw, they were unfiltered. None of us knew how to react or how to feel. I should have never posted the video. I should have put the cameras down and stopped recording what we were going through. There's a lot of things I should have done differently, but I didn't. And for that, from the bottom of my heart, I am sorry. I want to apologize to the internet. I want to apologize to anyone who's seen the video. I want to apologize to anyone who has been affected or touched by mental illness or depression or suicide. But most importantly, I want to apologize to the victim and his family. For my fans who are defending my actions, please don't. They do not deserve to be defended. The goal with my content is always to entertain, to push the boundaries, to be all-inclusive. In the world I live in, I share almost everything I do. The intent is never to be heartless, cruel, or malicious. Like I said, I've made a huge mistake. I don't expect to be forgiven. I'm just here to apologize. I'm ashamed of myself. I'm disappointed in myself. And I promise to be better. I will be better. Thank you.
Now, with that whole apology, if you actually look at the video of it, it doesn't look sincere. It kind of looks like he was reading off of a teleprompter. However, he apologized and he said clearly in the video that he was unaware of what they came across. I mean, now, shining light on, suicide victims, that whole thing, I don't I don't promote that at all. That was absolutely wrong. But for people to say that his career should be ended, that YouTube should take him off, like he's one of the most successful people to come out of YouTube. And for you to say that based off of one video out of the thousands of videos that he's posted is critical. That is social media criticism at its finest. Like, as people, that we have not made mistakes in our lives. Like, there's still racist people out there that make racial slurs. There's people out there that talk about people with special needs. There's all type of negativity that's thrown around in the world, but yet because he just so happens to be an influencer, people seem to watch him, kids seem to watch me. I know my sister watches him, and all because he's famous. Now people are saying, oh, you need to end his entire career, but yet why do we criticize the people that do this on a daily basis? I mean, if you know somebody, actually, I'm gonna challenge you guys, because now we're talking about social media criticism. So let's actually start holding each other accountable. If you come across somebody that's making fun of, special needs, suicide victims, using racial slurs, why don't you check them on that? Before you go on social media and use your quote unquote Twitter fingers, why don't you check that person right then and there to show him that that is not okay? Because ultimately, we need to make the world a better place. So I just feel like with this whole social media criticism, we should apply those same virtues to reality. Now, I'm not going to go on a whole rant here, even though you guys might be saying, dang, Mondo, you just kind of went on a rant. But I'm actually just kind of telling you guys, the topic of the day. I mean, it's social media criticism, so that's what I'm here to give to you. So you guys also might be wondering, where's the music? There is no music, because if I want to have the podcast on YouTube, I can't have music, because then they're going to say it's copyright infringement and all those other things. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to create Ice Cream Social Radio, and that's where I'll have all the music and everything on there. But on the podcast, it'll just be me and whatever guest. I got Jalen, J. Lou. They usually help me out with the podcast. So that's who's usually going to be on here. So no more music. I apologize, but I will have Ice Cream Social Radio. So you guys will definitely want to tune in to that. But jumping right back into it. Another reason why I also brought this up is because the various commercials in these companies that just got absolutely destroyed by the media. And I mean, I'm pretty sure you guys heard of it. It was the Pepsi with the whole Kendall Jenner handing the police officer a can, and all of a sudden there was no protest. There was the H&M campaign with a young African-American boy wearing the coolest monkey in the jungle campaign. And then there was the Dove commercial showing the black person having the absolutely most dry skin I have ever seen. Now, I do want to comment on one thing with the H&M campaign. It came out later on, and I even talked about it a little bit, that Diddy would pay the kid $1 million to come model for Sean John. And Diddy confirmed that those rumors were absolutely false, and they were simply just rumors. He actually said, why would I pay him $1 million? For what? Just to stand there and take a picture? He said nobody gets paid that much just to take a picture. So with that being said, these companies got absolutely destroyed. I mean, and I used to work for one of these said companies, and when the incident happened, when the commercial happened, literally people would hit me up. How do you work for a company like that? You should feel ashamed of yourself. Basically, everybody that believes in the culture, which I do as well, was hitting me up saying that I should be ashamed. I'm like, absolutely not. Because I wasn't a part of the marketing team. I wasn't a part of the advertising team. It's not like I looked over and reviewed that commercial before it was released to the world. That has nothing to do with me. They just cut me a check. I come here, I do my work, I get paid. The same with a lot of these other companies. And, even nowadays, you say, hey, do you want to drink a Pepsi? People will be like, oh, no, I only drink Coke. They yada, yada. It's like, okay, people are taking this to a whole different level. And I just feel like with social media nowadays, it's made it okay for people to be extremely sensitive. If they post even the smallest inkling of something that's not okay with the culture, they get absolutely destroyed in the media. I mean, H&M basically had to mark their whole store down by 80% just to keep people going into the stores. It's like, dude, I understand why they did that as a business and as a company. They want to keep the people coming in. But honestly, you give it a year, you give it, heck, a couple months, and those same people that were scrutinizing H&M, you will see them back in H&M on those $5 t-shirt racks, standing in line with about 4 items trying to get their stuff for the low. Those are the same people that will be doing that, because I know a lot of people that support the culture, and I'm going to keep using the word culture, because that's how we describe it nowadays. There's a lot of people that support the culture that shop at H&M. I know for a fact before this whole thing started, obviously, if I was going out or I needed to get something that was just real quick and real cheap, H&M's the go-to spot. I don't shop at Forever 21 because I still feel like that is a female store, but H&M is the go-to spot for cheap apparel. And I'm telling you, these people that are critics and that destroy these companies are the same ones that will turn around and shop there 2 months later and act like nothing ever happened. I try not to get carried away because I can tend to do that at times, but it's almost to the point where I feel like some of these people are just doing it because it's just the end thing to do. Now, the one situation I do understand is the kneeling of Colin Kaepernick and people protesting the NFL. I do believe that is for a good reason because the NFL didn't stand by Colin Kaepernick. So why should us supporters of Colin Kaepernick stand by the NFL? Now, with that being said, I absolutely still did watch the NFL. I watched the Super Bowl from beginning to end, including all the commercials and the halftime show. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say I didn't watch any of the NFL because I like the NFL. I only watch 2 sports, so NBA and NFL. So if I take away the NFL, that means I have to subject myself to only watching basketball. I didn't want to do that. I stand by Colin Kaepernick. I actually got a jersey from the company, the Carter brand. The Carter brand. And on the back of the jacket, it's a bomber jacket. On the back of it, it says, supporting everybody black. I know you guys know that Issa Rae said that, but I got the jacket as well because I truly do support that. However, I'm not going to protest the NFL only because I like football, only like 2 sports. So that's nothing against Colin Kaepernick. That's nothing against the culture. That's just a personal preference. And I just feel like with some of these situations, people just get carried away. They just take it way too far and they take it way left to a place it was not meant to be. So, hopefully Colin Kaepernick does get a job in the upcoming NFL season. I mean, I know a lot of teams need quarterbacks. I think me and my dad, we sat down and we said there's like 7 or 8 teams that need a quarterback. Hey, come to the Indianapolis Colts by all means because Andrew Luck, I mean, I'm not going to wish nothing bad upon him. I never would do that. He's our franchise quarterback, but he's been hurt for like the past 3 years. So Colin Kaepernick, if you want to come to the Indianapolis Colts and step in, by all means, do so. So let's go ahead and talk about the Grammys. So shout out to everybody that stole the show with the Grammys. I know you guys might be saying I'm a little late on this. However, I hadn't released a podcast episode talking about the Grammys, and it actually ties into what I have to say as far as social media criticism. And so I just do want to give a shout out to Kendrick Lamar and Bruno Mars. They absolutely stole the show. And you can't forget about Blue Ivy. She had the most adorable meme out there with her Beyonce and Jay-Z were clapping their hands. And she just put her hand and was like, hey, like, we only cheer for the winning team, basically. So enough of that. I'm not going to talk about that for too much. But the reason why I brought up the Grammys, I say congratulations to everybody who was nominated, everybody who won. But the reason why I'm mentioning this is because Chris Brown was not there. Heartbreak on a Full Moon had 45 songs. Over half of them were on the Billboard's Hot 100. Over half. Several of those songs have already gone platinum. Another several went gold. How was he not at the Grammys? How was he not nominated for anything? And it just simply goes back to the point of his whole domestic violence issues, him getting in trouble with the media, things like that. But I truly do feel like in his case, social media has absolutely killed him, has absolutely killed his career. And I'm not just talking about the domestic violence because that is, I mean, he deserved every bit of that. I mean, there's no talking about that, which is why I'm just going to skip, hop, and jump right over that topic. But everything else that he does, I mean, even when he promotes people on his social media page, on his Instagram page, people talk about that. People talk badly to him about that. And he had to release a comment about that, basically saying, I don't care what you people think. I'm going to continue to post what I want to post. People have become famous off of my posts. It's to the point where Chris Brown cannot post anything without being scrutinized for it. And I'm just trying to tell you, I mean, social media has just completely crippled some individuals' careers. I mean, we talked about Logan Paul. His career was derailed. I mean, he just released his first video like 2 days ago. Chris Brown has still not been back to the Grammys. That is an issue for me. I mean, he is a phenomenal singer. And, you know, we talked about Diddy had to make an apology. We talked about Kevin Hart had to make an apology for something so silly. And all the different companies, you know, it's controversial on whether you think they deserved it or not. Some situations I think shouldn't have been taken as seriously as other situations. But it is what it is. And that's just the social media criticism. And, you know, at this point, I think it's safe to say that social media dominates the world. I know I made a podcast episode about social media versus reality. And I just think it's safe to say that social media is the dominant presence. I mean, that's the first thing people do when they wake up in the morning. It's the last thing people do before they go to bed at night. They do it while they're eating. They do it when they're out to eat. They do it when they're watching a movie. They do it at the movie theaters. Social media is everywhere. So I'm just simply just making this podcast episode just to say that, long story short, I mean, I know I kind of hop skip around, I beat around the bush a little bit, but anyways, that's what you guys are here for. You guys are here to support me. You guys are here to listen to it. And that's simply to say, stop all the trolling. If somebody posts something that's not that bad, like, people, don't forget to have a sense of humor. Like, are you kidding me? A lot of this stuff is not meant to be taken as seriously as you guys take it. You guys take something, it blows up, it becomes the talk of the town, it becomes a trending topic for no reason. I mean, for a man to want to be called Brother Love is not that serious. And it's to the point where, honestly, I envy like people like my dad who are not on social media, because he's just simply like, what's the point? It's nothing but a bunch of gossip. It's nothing but a bunch of people who don't have, well, he didn't really say that, but basically it's nothing but a bunch of gossip, really. And, you know, at times I completely understand that, but at other times I do like to catch up with my friends. So let me not get sidetracked. So let me go back to the point. Stop the Instagram, Twitter, YouTube trolling. Stop the negativity. I told you guys before, 2018 is all about positivity. That is what it's all about. So let's continue to spread that positive energy. And by spreading that positive energy, you can start off with something very simple, like going over to YouTube and subscribing to Ice Cream Social Podcast. It's that simple. All it takes is one act of kindness to turn the tide in your favor. So with that being said, that's all I have for you guys. Just continue to spread positivity, spread the love, and just continue to support one another, because at the end of the day, that's what life is all about, is supporting our friends, our family, our associates if we need to. So just continue to keep that positivity going. And yeah, that's all I got for you guys. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat. I said all that stuff at the very beginning, so I won't repeat myself. Just go ahead and do all those things. Continue to buy the merchandise. I definitely appreciate you guys. I will see you next time on the Ice Cream Social Podcast. Peace.